questions?
Madam Attorney General,
Sure.
earlier this month, a bipartisan group of lawmakers on the House Oversight Committee voted to subpoena you to appear for a closed-door deposition. Do you plan? Will you commit to complying with that subpoena and appearing for a closed-door deposition?
I made it crystal clear. I will follow the law.
But
Next
does that
question.
mean you will? Does that
Next
mean you will
question.
appear?
Victim attorneys say that the release of Epstein, identifying of Epstein victims, was one of the single most egregious violations of victim privacy in a modern American history. You built your career on being a victim advocate.
Yeah.
Will you apologize to the victims? What do you have to say for that conduct?
Can you explain what you mean by identify? You mean victims' names that were released that shouldn't have been?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
So
also other
yeah. So under the Epstein Transparency Act, we had 30 days to redact and release under the law that was passed 3 million documents. If you stack those up, that's the height of the Eiffel Tower. No other administration, under the Biden administration, they released 0 documents. So we did our very best to comply with the law. And of course, we don't want any victim to be further victimized. And that's why we had 500 attorneys with the Criminal Division, with the National Security Division, with the FBI working around the clock to do the best we could. I think it was less than 1%. Error. Todd, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, that's right. We said from the beginning that any mistakes that were made, and there should be no mistakes. And so when you say lawyers have said something, that's not a fair question, and you know it, because we took pains to protect victims. When when someone identified that there was a victim, we immediately pulled that document down, fixed it, and put it back up
Immediately.
Immediately. And so of course we don't ever want to do anything to re-victimize anybody that was victimized by the horrible crimes of Mr. Epstein, and we didn't to the extent that mistakes were made, and there were mistakes made because of the reasons the Attorney General just said. But when they were identified to us, we fixed them immediately.
And let me be clear on this case. This case has spanned multiple administrations. It started under Bush. It went to Obama. It went to Biden. We were the only, no documents were released, only under the Trump administration. And we released 3 million documents, had 500 attorneys working on that, complying with the law the best we could, and protecting victims in doing it.
Madam Attorney General, this
ahead.
has been quite an odyssey for you. This began with an encounter you had with some activists in the Roosevelt Room where you handed out some binders. Then there was a discussion, a statement that the FBI and DOJ put out that this investigation was over. Flash ahead to a couple of weeks ago, you had a very unusual appearance before the House Judiciary Committee. Do you have any regrets? Is there anything you might have done differently? And do you think that your comportment and the department's comportment in this have exacerbated the public's lack of trust in this process?
Well, let me repeat what I just said. This has spanned 4 administrations. Bush, Obama, well, Trump won, 45, where Jeffrey Epstein was prosecuted, and then Joe Biden's administration, where 0 documents were provided. We have provided 3 million documents. 3 million documents, the height of the Eiffel Tower, used 500 attorneys working around the clock, have identified, either they self-identified or through their attorneys, 1,200 victims who we did our very, very best to protect their identities. And so we're proud of the work that we've done on this.
Like
Go ahead. Next question.
Democrats on the committee walked out. They called it a, quote, fake hearing and said you were just trying to get around appearing for a deposition. Can you respond to this?
Sure. We were there to answer questions. It's the evening. We came at their convenience. We gave them really as much time as they wanted. And one congresswoman screamed C-SPAN wasn't in there, so she didn't want to ask questions. Yet all day long they've been on social media saying they had all these questions. We sat there saying, anything you want to ask us, anything you want to ask us. And they screamed C-SPAN wasn't there, one of them, and then they stormed out of the meeting. So
can you just
thank you all.
Can you
thank you. Have a good night.
Contact with victims. Some victims have said they aren't satisfied with responses they've received from your office.
Jesus.
That is filmed, but would be released. There'd be a transcript. Because they're not the same person.
Go. Of course, have fun.
It'll be the same as my digital video, that's fine. We can do it in front of the doors.
All right, well, appreciate the Attorney General coming in for a briefing. This was a voluntary briefing, and at least majority got to ask a lot of substantive questions. It was very disappointing what the Democrats have done. I believe that was premeditated. They came out clutching their pearls, complaining that she wasn't answering any questions and things like that. The first three people to ask questions, all they did was complain. They didn't ask any questions. The Attorney General's here, but they said they wanted C-SPAN in here. They want the cameras, and very, very typical behavior of the Democrats. Very disappointing, because I really felt like there were a lot of the Democrat members that cared about getting the truth. But I've never seen members storm out of a briefing with the Attorney General and the entire leaders of the Department of Justice are there to answer questions, and they don't ask a single question. So, but I think what we heard today helped us. We'll continue with our investigation and move forward. Any questions, Andy?
Will you still move forward with the subpoena for Attorney General
That's
Bondi
what we plan on doing.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If Attorney General Pam Bondi does not comply with the subpoena, will you commit to go down the road of contempt?
Well, we'll have to talk about it. I will tell you, some of the members who voted to subpoena her today were pretty embarrassed by the way the Democrats acted and their lack of sincerity in having her in.
But will you hold the Attorney General to the same standard?
Well, we'll have
For
to
example,
talk about it.
Clinton?
We'll have to talk about it as a committee. So,
Chairman, when you say some of the members who voted for the subpoena were, like you said, embarrassed, those are Republican members who voted for the subpoena? Did
Yeah.
they ask her pressing questions in the room?
they did.
Okay.
Hard-hitting, substantive questions.
And what was the
Well,
substantive?
and I told the Attorney General, I spoke on numerous occasions. I'm like, we are serious about this investigation. This isn't a political game. Our constituents want answers. The American people want answers. We want to work with you. If we're going down a lane where you have an ongoing investigation, then tell us. We don't want to interfere or impede, but we plan on moving forward. We plan on getting answers for the American people.